Okay, so I cleaned out everything, separated the two, cleaned up the O-rings here. I mean, I wiped it out as best I could, put in as much grease as I could inside here in the bearings, both the bearings that's right here and right here. I also, when I was doing this, the face here got kind of oily and greasy, so I actually cleaned that off with alcohol, the NHX alcohol, to degrease it. So everything was wiped clean. Then I put this side back on here, and I started packing it in with grease as much as I could, and basically just spun it around and packing more grease, spun it around some more, packing more grease. As much as I could. So I think I'm pretty good there. So now I can actually put my my little pins, rollers in here, the little roller guides in here, pin guides. Okay, push that in. Oops. And then you can see all the grease on there. That one in. Okay, so those three are in. Okay, there you go. Those three are in. Now I'm gonna push in as much of the grease as I can. That way, when I put the sleeve cap back on, it'll be all nice and packed in with grease there. So got some more grease in here. Some more grease. Pack it in there. More grease. It's one of those things where you can never have too much grease, huh? Well, maybe you could if it pushes out, then that's probably a little bit too much grease. But right now I definitely don't think I have enough. In there, push it in there. Push it in there. Okay, I think I have enough. I think I have enough there now. So all three sides are good. So make sure my O-rings are still there. Actually, I'm gonna take some of this grease off. That's past this O-ring right here. If you look past right here, you see a little bit of grease past that O-ring. So you don't want grease in there, because that's how grease is gonna get into your drive. It's kind of hard when you work with grease. You know, grease gets everywhere. Okay. So hopefully I should be good now. So I'm gonna put my fingers here so that this part right here doesn't get slid in, because otherwise, if it moves, grease is gonna squirt out everywhere. So I'm gonna kind of work this in. A little bit. Spin it. Work it in there. In there. One more O-ring. Okay. You can feel it once it passes that O-ring. Okay, I think I'm good there. I believe I'm good there, so I could actually move this whichever way. Yeah. Actually, I could actually look in here and I can see the grease in there, so that's good. Okay. Now I could start putting everything back together. So there's a plastic base right here. Alright. That. So a little seat. Little spring right there. So I'm good for this section here. Put the other side. Now I need to put my clutch out back together. Earlier I took everything apart, right? Well, not everything, but you know, I took it up to here. So I'm gonna put this all back together. Make sure my hands are not greasy. A little bit greasy, not too bad. Okay. So here, I'll put this back on. Usually when you have things that are stamped, if it's stamped, one side is usually smooth, and the other side has a you know, a little sharp edge. That's called a burr. So usually when I put stuff on there, I usually like to have the burr facing away from touching another part. So if the burr will face out, you know, up that way, so it's not really touching anything. So that's the direction I'm gonna have it on. Push it in there. Okay. Everything's in. That's good. Let's see, not quite all the way in yet. So we just really lightly. Just real lightly. Normally I would use a mallet, but I don't have a mallet handy, so use the back of my screwdriver. Still not quite in there yet. Almost. That one's in there. Same thing with these little clips. One side will have a burr and the other side doesn't. I like to keep the burr away from touching another part, so I don't want the burr to touch this right here, so I will have the smoother side touching this. And notice my orientation. I like to get the clip so that the opening side is towards out. Again, you know, with centrifugal force, everything will move away. So the opening's that way, you know, it's this clip will, for whatever reason, if it comes loose, you know, it won't have a chance to get pushed loose. Whereas if it's on this side, you could actually, you know, spin out like that, right? So I don't know if I'm being a little anal there, a little OCD there, but that's my thought on that, anyways. Oops. Move that over a little bit so that's facing all the way out. Okay. This one's all the way in. With that, let's use my little screwdriver. Oops. My little screwdriver and push it in. Okay, that's good. So this side. Okay. Okay, that's good. So now this is going to be the hard part here. We basically need to put this. We basically need to push the spring down and push this the clutch shoe with, and you guys remember this nut here. We're gonna put the nut back on, and also the nut. The nut is a stamp piece as well. So there's also one side with a smooth and one side with a burr. I like to keep the side that's smooth touching the other piece. I don't want the burr to touch another piece. So that's my orientation right there. I have my little socket handy right here. So when I do this, I'm gonna have to basically step on it, on this piece so that it sits in there, and I can put my nut on there. I'm gonna have to hold it with both feet just to keep it nice and. Notice that it's not perfectly round, right? There's two flat sides, so that has to line up with a little piece in there. Oops. Whatever the case, however you do this, I guess I could do it with a foot and a hand, I guess, suppose. As long as one hand's free to put, initiate that thread. And be careful here, don't strip this thread. I mean, look how thin this nut is. It's pretty thin, so see, probably pretty easy to strip it. Sometimes I spin the. Lots of times I spin the nut backwards just to seat the thread, and you always hear it or feel it. Definitely feel it. Sometimes hear it. Once I seat, you know that it won't misthread. So okay, so it's far enough so that it holds itself. Now I could get my impact driver. The cool thing about my impact driver is that on a medium setting, it's set at 40 foot-pounds. That's what this nut is. 40 foot-pound of torque. So when I do this, I'm going to step on the clutch shoe end, push it all the way down, so I could get the proper torque. Otherwise, if I torque it like this, there's that pressure of the nut that pushes on this. You won't get the right torque setting. So it's kind of awkward. Here I am trying to juggle a whole bunch of different things. Juggle a light, juggle my balance on this. Let's see, not quite balanced. Okay. Oops. Okay, I think that's good. Oops. There we go. That should be good. 40 foot-pounds. And basically, that's how you take the clutch apart and put it all back together. Clean it out, grease it. Now all you need to do is just stick it back into the drive, and we're good. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. So this is the first time I've done 3-part video instead of a 2-part video. Thank you.